Well, hello. Welcome to the shower refurbishment. The problem I've got is, not a big problem really, but the tiles in this shower here are starting to crack. Well, at least a couple of them are, and also the grout lines are looking a little bit dirty. A couple of years ago I did refresh the grout lines, but they're still looking stained, and nowadays you can get these very nice wall boards which are single sheets that you cut to size, stick onto the walls of your shower and silicone round the edges, and it makes a nice neat job that is hopefully totally waterproof. So my plan is to remove the tiles in the shower, cut the wall boards to size, possibly fit a new shower tap here, new shower tap fitting, maybe use the old one, but it needs to come off anyway in order to cut the wall board on that wall there where the shower tap is. And so I'm going to start first of all by removing the tiles. A couple of them have been loose in the past, particularly where I've got this smaller tiles. I had to stick a few back there again a couple of years ago. So I've gone and put some cardboard on the floor in the shower room, bathroom, and I'm going to put some rubber mats on the floor there so whatever I drop doesn't damage the shower tray. That is an example of a slightly cracked tile. I don't know if the camera can pick it up well enough, but there's a crack there running through the tile. As I say, these edges here, these smaller tiles were coming apart off the wall a couple of years ago. They're very nice, but of course I don't want dampness seeping through the walls, because at the end of the day this is a boat and the walls are made of timber. The vertical walls inside are made of timber, which unfortunately on this boat is a sandwich of a veneer over MDF wood. I've gone and put a couple of mats on the floor to protect the shower tray, and I may have a look first of all at removing this shower door. It looks as if there is some trim at the top here which prizes off. You see the trim here on the inside, and it looks as if you get hold of it here, might be able to prise it off like that. Yes, and then it's revealing some screws, so let's have a look at that first of all. After taking that trim off, you can see the screws that are revealed where this shower frame is actually screwed in to the wall of the shower, just there. So, standing inside the shower, I've removed the trim on the other wall, and I've also got some screws there, but I've removed them on the other side and nothing has happened. I think the best thing, because of its weight, is to take this glass door off next, and it's held on by these runners that you can see. There's the uppermost runners there, and the lowermost runners, where I've had a problem with one of the wheels dropping off, is just down here. That's the lower runners there. That's the one where I've had the most problems. It keeps coming off. That's one wheel, and then the other wheel is there. So let's get the wheels off, or at least take the top wheels off, and then hopefully we can get the door to lift off somehow. Well, that's the mechanism for the wheels removed at the top of the door there. Those are the wheels that I've taken off the top of the door, just laying there in the tin, which is actually a dog's bowl. Well, I've got the shower glass door off, lying on the floor there. That's where the wheels were at the top on the door. And that's the bottom set of wheels. So now I need to carry on and figure out how I get this frame off. You can see how it's screwed to the side of the walls, but somehow the top must come apart, I presume, as you can cut these things when you buy them to fit. They do have some adjustment. So let's carry on and see how we get on. Probably take these screws out that are going into the wall just here first of all. Well, that's the length of the screw that was holding the shower frame to the wall, which looks that it's about an inch screw or 2.5 centimetres in length. Could have been stainless steel though, and not galvanised, which is just rusted away, or is starting to rust away. Down the side of the shower screen was a lot of silicon sealant. Now, silicon sealant is actually quite strong, and I've had to use a Stanley knife, and also I've got a scraper which I'll just show you. This is the scraper. Just slide it up there and it scrapes off the silicon sealant. So actually this side is loose now. I can move this side around here like that, but the other side is well and truly firmly fixed. I had thought about cutting the top rail, and I might have to do it a bit more. I've actually sawn through part of the top rail except for the last bit at the top, so I've actually sewn up here using my multi-tool. This is quite firmly attached. You would think that these might clip off, these front plates here. You can get a screwdriver down in there and you think they might clip off, but they don't. Evident by this other side here. So if you look at this other side here, I've tried to force it off a bit, but it's all one piece. So that's off and is sliding nicely inside the shower to remove it. But the other side here is well and truly firmly fixed. So I shall try sliding in a sharp blade in case there's an awful lot of silicon sealant. It is amazing how strong silicon sealant is, but it might be right down in the gap here, right down on that face there, all the way up. So anyway, I shall have a go at sliding a knife blade in there now. Before I can take this frame any further into the shower, the riser for the shower head is going to be in the way, so I'm just taking it off the wall. There's a plastic fitting here that just goes there like that, and it's merely held to the wall by a couple of screws, one there, one there. I just need to take those off in order to get it off the wall, so I'll do that now. And then I've managed to get the door frame out. I've pushed this side here, pushed it back, and the other side here has slid out of its holder here, but it's still very strongly fastened to the wall as this metal here. I'm going to have to gently prise it off, I think. Must be just silicone down the back of it that's holding it in place all the way to the bottom. So anyway, that's the bottom off. Excuse the bit of mould in the bottom of the shower there. So that's just silicone sealant around the bottom. Anyway, that's the door frame off. so I can take it for recycling. Well, I've got the other bracket off the wall. The bracket was really stuck down with a couple of runs of silicone sealant. I'll just show you the back of the bracket here. So if you look at this, it was all covered in silicone sealant. I mean, it's amazing how strong silicone sealant is, really. But all the bracket was covered in it, and it was just really severely fastened to the wall. So I had to get a knife down the back of it and then gently prise it off with a screwdriver. Anyway, it's off now. So that's the shower door removed. I've taken the shower door off and disposed of it at the recycling at my local tip. I now need to look at taking the tiles off. Before I do that, I'm going to protect the shower base itself. If I just pan down to the shower base there, you can see that it's at risk of being damaged. It's kind of porcelain, as this one is. So what I'm going to do is to put a plastic bag down here with some masking tape right up to the edges of the tiles, and then I'm going to put the couple of mats back in the shower so that if anything falls, the plastic bag will stop it falling into the shower itself and scratching it, and then the rubber mats will also help protect the shower, and it's something that I won't slip on whilst I'm working in the shower, which I think is important. So I better get on with that. Well, that's the plastic bag kind of fastened down and tucked under the cardboard that I'm using to protect the tiled floor. Not perfect, little bit of a gap around the edges here, but hopefully it will do the job, and I'll start looking at how easily it is to get these tiles off the walls. So I'm just getting the first few tiles off here. I've used a tool on a multi-tool to go down the grout lines. So say I've used a tool on the multi-tool to go down the grout lines like that, cut into the grout a little bit, like that, and like that, and then I'm finding that I can use my spatula to just gently lever these small ones away. So they're just coming away like that. Must have been a row of them stuck to a backing paper, because I think that's the backing paper for them there. But so I've just taken a few off there. These are just lifting straight off, and then hopefully I can get to the bigger tile. So these are just lifting straight off like that. So that's those removed, but then I've got to try and get down the back here to the bigger tile. And I don't know how easy that'll be. It depends how well the adhesive is spread behind the tile, I dare say. But I shall just have to go with the multi-tool down the back of the towel there, just see if we can loosen it away a bit more. Well, progress is being made
albeit a little slowly. Got a few tiles off the wall now to start with. Quite a lot more to do though.
Well, this is a bit interesting. Looking at the wall here, I'm moving on to the second row of tiles, but where the small tiles are, there seems to be a wooden strip, very fine wooden strip, all the way underneath them. Here, here, just here, you know, you push down here, and there's a fine wooden strip underneath them, and that seems very odd to me. I know the person that fitted the boat out seemed to like some red coloured adhesive, but why fit a narrow strip of wood underneath the smaller tiles? Must be to bring them up flush with the surface of the larger tiles, but must have thought it was a good idea at the time. Anyways, I was a bit worried about it when I saw it splintering. But here it just comes off. Unfortunately, these walls are an MDF sandwich, and you can see here how the fine surface of the MDF is there, and then underneath that's the MDF. So unfortunately, when I've chiseled this tile and it's lifted away, it's brought the fine surface away with it. So I'll have to watch out for that. Maybe the wall got a bit damper here. I think it is slightly damp because there's a stain at the other side of the wall where the bed head is. A dark stain, so there must have been some seepage through the wall. Well, that's one wall fairly stripped of its tiles. Taken me probably about 5 hours to do that, and I've still got another couple of walls to do. 2 walls are done. The rear wall, which I think was tiled first looking at it, because the tiles went underneath at the back here of the side walls. The side wall there is done, and I've got all this to clear up because there's a bit of a ridge here where the adhesive is, and I want to try and get the walls as smooth as possible. So onwards and upwards, better carry on. So the tiles are off the walls in the shower here. The only thing is I've got a lot of residue left, tile adhesive all over the place, which I'm going to have a go at scraping off the walls now so I can try and get them as flush as possible. I'm going to use my scraper tool and maybe a hammer and chisel as well. So I better get on with that next. As an alternative to the hammer and chisel, I can always try my multi-tool. Let's just get that. I think the blade's looking a bit worn out if you look at it. I've got one blade left, and then I've got some kind of sanding attachments. Hi, welcome back to the shower tile removal part of refitting the shower with shower boards. Anyway, let's turn around and we'll have a look at where we've got to. So the shower tiles have been largely removed. There's the part where the shower attachment controls are there in place, which I've still got to do. But the tiles have been removed, and I've been using my multi-tool to remove the adhesive as best I can on the walls around the shower. So that's completed now. I've got a bit of tidying up to do there. As you can see, there's lots of flakes of tile adhesive on the floor. The next thing is really I want to get this shower attachment removed where it's plumbed through the wall. So it's very easy to get at that area on this boat, because here I've got a little compartment with shelving. I've removed the top shelf there. The middle shelf is still in place, but they just pull out and lift off quite easily. And so does the top of this cupboard here. And then there are some screws there to remove, some small screws, which I shall do now. And then I'll be able to get at not only the plumbing for the shower, which will just be behind the boarding there, and also I can get to the electrical cable as well, which is the shower on-off pump switch. There's a kind of a gulliper pump which pumps the water straight away out over the side of the boat. So let's do that now, get the shelving removed, and we'll have a look at the pipe work. Well, I'm going to remove the panel here that covers up where the pipework goes to the shower controls. They are just here, as is the cable that goes to the shower pump switch. If I look in the rest of the hole further back, I can remove a lower panel to get to it more easily. You will see that there is the cables coming to the the pipework coming to the hot and cold cables, as well as the pump out and vent and fill for the macerator toilet, which where the tank is underneath the double bed. The cable coming down from the ceiling is the input from the solar panels on the roof, so that comes in there and then goes down to the engine room where they are the MPTT controllers to charge the leisure batteries. So I've cut the pipe insulating foam just around the top of these John Guest Speed Fit fittings there. On the other side, it's quite a nice design really, although I have bought a new shower. Held with 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 onto the wall, and I've undone the nuts where the hot comes in and the cold comes in here, which I'll show you in a second or two. And then you've got the John Guest Speed Fit 90-degree tap fittings just there, and you can actually pull this out to attach the fittings. Nice design. I've gone and bought a new shower, but this fitting is a nice design, I believe, for ease of fitting. This is the shower control. You've got the outlet to the shower itself just there on the bottom, flow rate on the left, temperature on the right there, and on the back I've just undone those nuts, and on the back there to secure it and keep it watertight you've just got it's a bit bunged up with muck, but the rubber washers just sit in there like that, one there and the other one just over here like that, with a little mesh on them to stop debris going into the fitting. Nice design, and it looks as though the make is something called Lotta. Nice design. So the shower fitting is now removed. I've just put some tissue through the holes because I'm going to sand down the roof of the shower. There's remains of silicone sealant and it may well be covered up by the new panels, but I'm just going to give the roof a sand. Unfortunately I've not got any of my varnish here today, and I'll probably give it a coat of varnish, but I'm just going to remove that bit of silicone off the roof. That's the inside now. They've removed the shower pump cables are there, and the John Guest Speed Fit tap fittings are just there. I've marked them red for hot and black for cold. So I've cleaned up after removing the tiles and scraping away the tile adhesive as best I can. It's probably taken me 10-11 hours to remove the excess adhesive. Never was planning to get the walls perfect because they're going to be covered with shower boards. So the next job, I think, is measuring the size of the shower boards more exactly. I'll take some measurements again, but I've got some large pieces of cardboard to actually cut to size, and then I'll have to knock a little bit off the edges because of the edge trim I've got. I've got a forward edge trim and a corner edge trim that will go on each corner, and then another forward edge trim that will come here.
So a taster here of what's coming up next time when I have to work on getting the shower boards cut to the right size for each wall. I also have to work on the metal corner edging to the shower boards. I've got those holes in the wall to sort out and fix, using a piece of wood to increase the strength of the shower wall where the tap fitting will go, using a couple of things: Sikaflex, wood filler, talking about no more leaks, and a tanking system to protect the wood of the boat in case it gets wet. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Cheerio. Thank you.